Okay, so welcome back. In video 1 we discussed how to find ideas for your book. So now it's time to take a look at different ways to research information about these ideas for your book. So why do we research? The most important reason why you research is to make sure all your facts are correct. Otherwise your credibility is on the line, and that is something you really don't want to jeopardise. Even if you are writing your biography, you will still need to do some aspect of research. You may need to find out a bit around your family history, or if you had some kind of illness in your lifetime, you may want to include some other facts around this illness, as well as your own personal experience. Even a fiction novel needs research. For example, you would want to do some research on different characters for your book, different settings or plots. So in exercise 1 below this video, take some time and write down your initial thoughts on characters, settings and plots. And then once you've done that, come back and we'll continue. Or if you would like to just watch this all the way through and then come back to the exercises, that's fine. Whatever works for you. There's no right or wrong. Okay, so for a really good story to be written, it is important to ensure that you have adequately prepared and researched your material. So set your space for research. Light a candle, grab a cup of tea or coffee, grab a wine or perhaps some chocolate, whatever works for you. Doing your research in small chunks is more effective, so please don't rush this step. Trust me, it will be well worth it in the long run. How many times have you read a book that seems like it's missing a crucial part of the story, or it does not make any sense? Don't let this happen to your amazing story. Okay, so in the next video, we will be discussing the outline of your book. However, I want to touch on it here for just a minute as far as research goes. You may or may not have an outline for your book as yet, and that's fine. I am sure you already have some ideas of different topics that surround your story. So keep in mind when you are researching to look for those specific topics as well as a general search on the main topic of your book. Remember to think of your target readers when you are researching and ask yourself, is this something my readers would benefit from? Is this information going to guide them with their own personal experiences around this issue? The internet has a ton of information to research. However, please be very careful as there is also a ton of rubbish. So how do you know what is good and what isn't? Well, I'll discuss that in a minute. But before we do that, I just want to talk about when I was researching to write my book on anxiety and depression. I firstly bought a thing called Scrivener. For those that have not heard of Scrivener, it's an amazing piece of software that is very affordable. It's around $50 plus. You can trial it out for 30 days of use, not duration time, which is pretty incredible. It is available for PC and Mac. Scrivener is not only a great writing tool that I use when I am writing, it is also a great place to store all your research. It really is an all-in-one tool. You can add your snippets of research to the relevant parts of your book. This way you don't have to go searching as to where you put that vital bit of information that you're looking for. So with Scrivener installed and all set up waiting for research notes, I started looking at many websites on anxiety and depression and started pasting either URLs or snippets of information from these websites into Scrivener. So an important point to remember when researching, as I mentioned above or earlier, about what is good and what is bad information. If you find some great information whilst you are looking around, make sure it has come from a credible website. In other words, a well-known website that you have heard of. So in exercise 2 below this video, write down your research findings. Okay, So I also purchased many books on the topic of anxiety and depression. And once I read these books, I found a wealth of information that was really helpful to me personally, and it gave me a great source of information that helped shape my book. My local library was also a great place for my research efforts. It gave me heaps of information, and I found many books that backed up what I had researched online. In saying that, however, please be careful, as there are books that have been published that have not been properly edited or written very well. To me, that screams bad information. Of course, the other source for your research is your own personal experience around your topic. Again, don't forget to check facts, statistics, to make sure you have the right information. Really is important. Research is one of the most crucial parts of writing your book. Why? Because it will make your story not only credible, it will make it a really good read, and people will line up to buy your story, your book. So when you are researching, think about what problems your book solves. So it's time for you to identify the top 3 problems your book solves in exercise 3 below this video. Now in exercise 4, we help you with other areas that you can research for your book. A research exercise is great for character building of your non-fiction book. So take a look at exercise 5 below this video to help you through this. Okay, now don't forget to research images and video as well. These are great resources that can give you some visual inspiration. Sometimes the written word can get lost in research, so this is when you need video or images. They allow you to see, hear, and virtually experience things you may not when you are reading an article. Even watching a movie on your topic can open up a whole new series of ideas to help you with writing your book. One of the things I did in my research process was to look at the genre I was going to write about. You need to be completely familiar with the genre you choose, reading and learning what you can from the works of other writers. You need to discover where and how your book will fit within this genre and think of ways you can introduce a fresh perspective in this area. It is really important that when you're adding your research to your book, that you weave it into your story so that it is not all factual, that it becomes a natural part of your story. Allow your research to inform your writing as subtly as possible. Otherwise, people would simply just Google the information instead of buying your book, and that's not what we want. So you need to give them a reason to want to read your book. What's in it for them? What will they get from reading your book as opposed to reading someone else's? So one step you need to look at when researching is, will your book even be considered when people are searching for a good read? By this, I mean, is it a topic that people are interested in? Are there other books written on this topic? These may be questions you are unable to answer if it's your biography. However, you need to ask yourself the question about the message your book has. Is it something people need to know about? For example, my book on anxiety and depression is a topic that is huge. So there was definitely an audience of readers ready to learn more about this common disease. So make sure this is part of your research. There's no point in writing a book if you will not have an audience that is interested. Remember that if the research starts to get overwhelming, perhaps it's your subconscious trying to tell you it's time you stopped the research and start writing. Your subconscious knows. So stop, listen, breathe, start writing. Okay, so in the next video, we will cover how to use the information you have researched and ways of sorting it into a logical order with some amazing tools ready to write your book. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.